Hey, what's up guys, I'm Prejorn and welcome back to Victoria 3 as we are playing as the United States. So I hope everyone had an excellent weekend. We're going to go ahead and just jump on into today's episode by talking about interest, one element of interest that I haven't really mentioned yet. So we've seen in previous episodes that we can't interact in areas that we don't have interest. So I think I was looking at this when it came to bankrolling countries in Africa, and we saw you can't do that unless you have an interest in that region. And that also extends to trade. So you cannot trade with a country unless you guys have overlapping interests, you in that country. So with Europe, I've been adding the interests here so that we could trade with them. That's where a lot of the goods in the world are produced are by European countries. Many of the times that is actually outside of Europe because the European countries have colonized Africa or somewhere in Asia, and then they have all those natural resources in their markets. So you do want to be able to trade with the Europeans, both because of those colonization efforts and their eventual control of a lot of important resources, but also because they're the most industrialized typically, so they have a lot of extra resources for that reason too. But since all you need is overlapping interests, that means that if these European countries have an interest here or an interest anywhere else that we're currently also having an interest, then that means we can trade with them. So some of these we could probably pull off on and be okay. So I think we're going to pull out of Germany here and maybe the Rhine region as well. Might keep Italy up there because they're not really colonizing anywhere, so we want to be able to trade with them. Then we'd have to have them, we'd have to have the interest there. Could also do Scandinavia, pull them out. We'll see if we need to. What I want to do is add more areas in Asia. So particularly here in India. There's a lot of goods there we might want to trade. And then with the Africans here, while there are a ton of goods there that we're going to need, particularly the rubber, these are all going to fall underneath the Europeans, so we won't need to add interest in any of those zones, since again, this should eventually end up becoming mostly European territory. And you can already see that effort has been happening here. The French seem to be the primary colonizers in Africa. See the British in there a little bit. Got the Portuguese over here as well. But yeah, definitely mostly the French that have been colonizing. So yeah, with our interest in France and Britain, we won't have any issues trading for that. But yeah, I just want to make sure we can trade over here and get all the resources there. And it was one thing I hadn't talked about yet in the series either. So yeah, let's go and let it play. So we got this problem with our general, Simon Cowell, something like that. And the fact that, obviously he's been stuck on busy due to that one bug, and therefore we can't make use of him. All you can really do is promote him and give him more troops. And somebody brought up the fact that him being busy might also stop him from being killed, which I think is probably very likely, considering the fact that Paradox would have that as a condition, that the character not be busy before an event killed him off. So I've had several people, I think it's 3 different people, said that they have had this bug happen, and this is just their interest being deactivated and activated in other places. But yeah, that they had this bug happen, and then the character that happened with, that character never died. They just had him forever. Like he's living until like 120 years old or something like that. And I could definitely see that being the case with Simon here. He's already 75 now, given the characters in Victoria do seem to live into their 70s. Typically, almost all of them live into their 70s. So this might not be part of the bug, but I would not be surprised if he does not die. So I decided that I would just go ahead and remove him through the console. However, it didn't work, guys. I did the kill character. I put his name in, and if you put the wrong name in, it says that character doesn't exist. That's not what happened. It said that it killed him, but it didn't. So clearly we can't even kill him by cheating. We're just going to be stuck with him, I suppose, for the rest of the campaign, unless he just dies of natural causes, which maybe, I don't know, guys. I've never encountered this bug before, so I can't really say what's going to happen, but, viewers are saying that we're probably going to have him forever, so we just need to go ahead and expect that. So we're going to go ahead and declare neutrality here. We don't really care that they have a revolt in Guatemala. And then this here, another issue we don't really care about, so let's go ahead and declare our neutrality. So not get notifications about those any further. So I did set up some more stuff to build, as well as furthered our construction sectors. So I built like 5 more construction sectors. So you'll see that number increasing here, so that we can build more. Just because we're at that point where we got tons of money. So we're going to want to make sure we're spending that on increasing our GDP. And so we'll see that, you can see right here from ווייניש just going straight up practically. They were doing very well with the growth there, but we're very far behind the two leading powers, France and Britain. And, they have all that wealth and they'll be able to use that wealth to, build even more. So it's going to be difficult to catch up to them. Another gold rush in California. Okay, we're going to go with this one here, the gold fields throughput. Well, and a correction on that throughput. So I could have swore the developer diary, which I had read them all recently before we started the series, before I started playing, once I'd gotten the code. And I had swore that they had said that the throughput increases the amount of goods that the building produces and decreases the amount of goods that it takes in. So basically, affects the input and the output favorably. But apparently that's not the case. Several viewers have corrected me on this, and I also confirmed it on the wiki, that it actually increases both the input and the output rather than decreasing the input, as I had said. So it actually requires more goods and then puts out more goods. But the bonus that you're getting there, of course, is that you're able to produce more without more workers, without more laborers. So it's still beneficial, but not quite as beneficial as I had originally stated. I could have swore it said something different on developer diary. I must have probably read it wrong. I haven't checked that developer diary to see if I just read it wrong, but I'm assuming I saw it wrong. Unless they changed it. They did change a lot in developments, but I don't think that's one of them. So we actually have finished building up quite a few things. We're about to finish up a bunch of other things as well, so we need to get more things constructing. So you'll see I started with some more tooling workshops here, added those, also added more chemical plants for the explosives, which are getting kind of expensive. And you can see we need clippers, but remember that has to do with Liberia, so that's not our concern. We're not using them or producing them, so we can ignore that. The explosives, we're already building something for that, the chemical plants, but I'm not entirely sure that'll be enough. I might need to build more for that. The rubber, there's nothing we can do about, because there's no one we can trade with, unfortunately. And I don't think there's anywhere where we can produce that at the moment, because we're kind of relying on Mexico or Liberia to do it. And if it gets expensive enough, maybe they will. But I don't know. In general, the AI seems really bad about producing the new resources, unfortunately. So yeah, we probably are just going to have a lot of trouble with rubber throughout the campaign, unless we were to conquer additional territory that would have some, outside of maybe changing up some stuff here, which I guess we would want to make sure that nobody else is able to trade for it. Now I don't think anybody is currently trading for it. We're trading for some in the British and Scandinavian markets, but I don't think anybody's going to trade for it. But we can go and make sure that nobody does, and increase the exports here. Now you'll notice that we're actually going to get less money, and I think that's because when you do this, you're basically ending the tariffs on imports. I believe that's what I saw. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then it's the opposite here. So you're increasing the tariffs on imports while ending the tariffs on exports. So I think that's the way that it's applied. And so basically, we're trying to encourage people to, in this case, import the resource to us by ending the tariffs while discouraging from exporting it. So I saw that in the developer diary as well, so it could have changed. And I know for sure that's what the dev diary said. But of course it could have changed. So I think that's the reason why we're losing a little bit of money there. It's not much. But we're going to go ahead and do that, guys, because again, I think rubber is going to be a consistent issue. So essentially, one of our best options would probably be to try and conquer territory that would grant us some rubber. And I think the state of Santo Domingo here in Haiti would be the best option. They have a total of 12 rubber plants, or rubber plantations, compared to the 8 that we currently have in Cuba. So, a lot more, 50% more. So then there's the question, does Haiti have any friends? No, they do not. Nobody protecting them, nobody really to be concerned about, outside of those that might have interest here. That obviously would be a problem. Oh, another thing regarding Mexico, despite the fact that I released them as a puppet, they're considered a dominion rather than a puppet, unfortunately. The main difference there means that Mexico can have their own diplomatic plays. That's the major difference. Also, they will not be called into any of our wars, unfortunately. So a bit like Canada here is a dominion for the British. So that's not what I wanted them to be. I wanted them to be a puppet. So very unfortunate, but they do still give us the 10% of the money, which we had said that they were getting, or that we were getting, 26,000 from Russia. But we're actually only getting 22,000 from Russia, while we're getting 4,000 from Mexico. So that's that 10% of their income. So we are getting that from them, and of course they're in our markets. But yeah, unfortunately they're not a puppet, so we don't control their diplomacy overall. But yeah, we could go ahead and take this from Haiti rather than making them into a subject, because we can't force them to build if we just make them a subject. But yeah, we could just take that over, and then we'd have those rubber plantations there. That'd be one way to do it. But of course, can't do anything until we deal with the infamy problem. And I did forget we're supposed to be building stuff, so let's go in here and see what we need. Yeah, we got into talking about rubber there. I think we will go ahead and get some more explosives. Well, I do have 4 of these going, the chemical plants. They're probably not going to be enough. So we're going to get a few more building just to make sure that the explosives don't get too expensive. And we're going to build those. Let's see here. Another one in Texas, another one in Ohio. Really focus Ohio on this. So we'll get a ton of these. And, it might get too cheap there, but it'll be fine. So the next thing we need to work on is the dyes being too expensive. They're not too bad, but yeah, we definitely want to bring that down some. So let's go get those synthetic plants building up. Remember, California is our main synthetic plant location. We only have 2 places right now for synthetic plants, so I think we're going to start another one. And I think it would be best to base this off of... So what I'd like to do, I just wish these map modes were a little bit more useful, not just based on color, where we could, be able to see exactly what their standard of living is in these areas here. Instead, we have to actually now we're building one. But yeah, I don't want that up, so let's go and pull that down and go ahead and stop that construction that I started there. And yeah, we're gonna have to actually click on them to see what their standard of living is, unfortunately. So yeah, you're 13.6 here, and then the screen went away. So yeah, kind of a bummer. This is a pain in the butt to use like this. You're at 13.9 there. I kind of feel like West Virginia might be the lowest at 13.6. Let's go up here and see how they're doing in the Dakotas. South Dakota's doing much better because of those gold mines. 13.5. That might be the lowest, guys. Delaware's doing horrible. So that's where we should build it. Yeah, they're at 12.2. It can't possibly be worse than that, right? Yeah, I can't see them being worse anywhere else. Looks like Florida has gone down. These ones are pretty bad too, but the problem here is they don't actually have any peasants. They're not very many for me to build with. You got a few, so you could build 1 or 2 things there, but as far as really building this up here, I think Delaware is the location. So let's go and do that. We will build these in Delaware because, yeah, frankly, they just don't have anything. Let me see how they're currently doing on taxation capacity infrastructure. Pretty good. We should be able to get some stuff built here without any issues. So let's go and go with the synthetic plants, and we're going to go all the way up to level 5 here. And they actually do have the population to sustain that. All right, so after the dyes, looks like electricity is the next issue, though we have a bunch of power plants building here. I suppose you could build more. Yeah, I suppose that's what we'll do, guys. We'll also go ahead and import more wine. Our people love wine, apparently, so we're going to get this from... Yeah, we'll go with the Algerian market. Looks like that's the one that is the most beneficial for us. So let's continue trading for the wine. And then we're already taking care of all that. So just the electricity is the next thing we need to get here. And we'll just continue building that in New York. So let's go with... Yeah, I think that would... Let's go with 8. We're always using more electricity. Bringing the cost down would be really helpful for many of our industries. And it's not like it's something that we can trade. And nobody's going to trade for it or anything. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely something we should work on. We can't trade for it with other countries. They can't trade for ours. So yeah, I think it would be a good idea to get that. So lots of current political movements now. And the propertied women one has a lot of support That's, of course, moving us backwards on here. Now, the radicalism is very low, so that's good. But, yeah, there is quite a bit of support here for these three interest groups. So one thing I want to look at, because remember, right now we're just currently burning off infamy. We just got below 50, so now we're infamous rather than notorious. One thing somebody had asked me to look at, something we haven't really looked at yet. Looks like we need to get more stuff building first, and then we'll look at it. All right, so I think shipyards could be built up. It's already done the tooling workshops, so let's do the glass works, the shipyards, and the textile mills. All right, so let's get all that started. I guess the shipyards we'll do first. We'll do one in New York here, and then Massachusetts has a large number of peasants. They actually have more than New York does. So we're going to get several of those in Massachusetts as well. So the textiles and the glass, that was the other thing. So glass works. So we're going to do these in all these locations that have so many peasants here. Let's get one there as well. Maybe one more in North Dakota there, because we saw that their standard of living was a little bit lower. So we got that, and then the textile mills. So let's get some more of these building up. We'll do one here in Pennsylvania. And I'm really feeling like maybe we should get one in one of those areas where we had low standard of living. Like maybe here. Like you can't build up very high here because there aren't a lot of peasants, but you could get one level just to kind of give their people something to work on. Same thing here. They have just enough peasants to employ like one level of this. So yeah, we could do that. Just to give them some jobs up here. We should probably increase this a bit more. Let me just see if there's any areas that have lots of peasants don't have this besides Ohio. We've already built a lot in Ohio. Could do North Carolina. There we go. All right, excellent. So that'll keep them busy here, at least for a little while. Now we have so much building now that, yeah, we really need to probably stack it up even higher. I was going to say we're not interested in being involved in this. Declare our neutrality. So what I wanted to do is take a look at our top 3 states, the population, because we looked at the population at a national level, but not at a state level. Some people have asked me to do that, and it would take too long to look at all the states. But what we can do is look at the top 3 states. So the number 1 state in our country is New York, and they are 86.3% Yankee. So definitely dominating the culture of New York. The French make up 4.97% of the population, so 196,000 people. A lot of Dixie people have moved up north to enjoy that industry and prosperity. As far as religions go, about 81% are Protestant in the state of New York. And looks like we got an issue there. Let's just see what happened here real quick. Okay, I'm not entirely sure why I got removed. Let's re-add it. So going back to New York, out of the professions here, the peasants are 29% of the population. Laborers are 24% of the population. Clerks 18.2%. Machinists are 11.6% of the population. As far as what interest groups they support, well, the industrialists are dominant at the 23, almost 24% there. A lot of support for intelligentsia and trade unions as well, though. Now, if we were to go into Pennsylvania, you'll see similar, but some major differences here with the Yankees not having anywhere near as high as a population as far as numbers or percentage. I wonder why this keeps getting deactivated. Lose an interest and get it back or something. But yeah, 67.7%. So 2/3 of the population of Pennsylvania are Yankees, and that's because over a quarter of the population is English. Almost 1 million English people living in Pennsylvania. That's how many migrants we got from the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, I should say. Protestant, very high as well here in Pennsylvania. Peasants, almost 50% of the population is a lot of peasants here, a lot of laborers, clerks. So similar to New York, but definitely far more peasants. They did not have anywhere near that many. We have 1.7 million. And then similar support here when it comes to the interest groups there. All right, so we got to build a few things, then we'll look at the third and final state we're going to look at, which is Cuba over here. They still are sitting at third when it comes to overall GDP, which even though they're third, they're far behind those two states. California is actually catching up with Cuba. They might not be third anymore, because I'm seeing Virginia's got higher GDP. So maybe we need to like relook at our states and just see. I mean, this is based off of their taxes. And yeah, we're still making far more in taxes in Cuba. Yeah, there's really no other way to sort. I don't think you can sort by GDP. I don't know of any way to do that. But yeah, I don't think Cuba's GDP is quite as high as we were thinking. They just pay us a lot in taxes because of the current buildings they have there. So yeah, Virginia might actually be more GDP wise. I mean, well, we know it is. It's at 8.76 million. All right, well, I think we'll still probably look at Cuba. We can look at Virginia too, though. California is pretty high GDP wise as well. Yeah, let's go and get some stuff building first before we do any of that, though. To see where we're at. So we still have these problems here, and we'll keep on dipping in here just to see if any import routes open up. We, I think, are taking care of the dye, right? Or did we already do that? We already did that. Maybe it's not been enough. We're also getting more of the textile mills, so that's going to require more dye. So I need to get more of those synthetic plants, and then the sulfur is also a problem, so we need more sulfur mines. Okay, so let's go ahead and get more of these built. The synthetic plants here. Get more of those dyes. And Delaware still has a lot of peasants here. Oh, that's interesting. So we're gonna go and get them up to level 10 then. And that'll be one of our key synthetic plant locations. So the other thing we needed was the sulfur, that's right. So we'll get the sulfur, looks like iron as well. So we'll get that too while we're in here. So with the sulfur, looks like we do one more here in Iowa, maybe 3 more in Texas. And I suppose you could do Minnesota. And we're gonna do all these. Just get them started there. Try and bring down the cost of sulfur. And then iron mines. Let's also do more iron mines. We're gonna go probably quite a bit into Pennsylvania here, because again, they just have so many peasants. I think it would make sense to do that. And maybe a bit more in Michigan. And Minnesota here. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Alright, so let's go and take a look at Cuba's population now. So, nowhere near the number of Yankees here. Yeah, they are the dominant culture, but nowhere near as many as you saw in Pennsylvania and New York, which is to be expected. I would get an event about the brave engineer, a railroad accident in South Dakota, only narrowly avoided heavy fatalities due to the quick thinking of the train's engineer, who perished in the crash. Only a few people died, but the wreckage will still take some time to clear. So we can say, thank goodness for quick thinking engineers. This will end up reducing infrastructure. Or we can say the railmen should get more than a song for dying on the job. Where are they at currently? They're already pretty loyal. Yeah, we'll just go with this one here. And looks like Clement just died, the leader of the trade unions. So yeah, they have a little over a third. It's 35.1% of the population is Yankee. And Caribbean is 27.6%, so well over a quarter here. And then Irish, a lot of Irish people, 8.53%. Now, one thing you're going to notice is the Swedish is stepping up. Remember, they're a migration target for Swedes. And so that's numbers going up to now 108,006% of the total population. A lot more Catholics here. Catholics dominate here in Cuba rather than the Protestants, 75.2%. Other professions, laborers are very dominant here, 53.5%. Nowhere near as many peasants as what you see in Pennsylvania and New York. So we're doing a much better job employing our people here in Cuba than in those other states. Very different with the interest groups as well. Industrialists here are not dominant, and instead it's rural folk, southern planters, and the armed forces. It's a very different situation there. With socialist ideas sweeping across the United States of America, Josiah Price of the trade unions has been appointed to a leading position in the government. there is sufficient momentum for a rapid policy change. So we can guarantee fair wages, and that'll enable the law wage subsidies and welfare. The trade unions will always select vanguardist, communist, or anarchist leaders. Other interest groups are much more likely to select vanguardist, communist, or anarchist leaders. Or we can pass laws protecting trade unions, which have the same effects, while increasing their interest group attraction and not enabling the law wage subsidies. So let's go and take a look at that real quick. What law this is about to be granting us. So that's in here. And if you guys recall, it was one we would have had difficulty passing because the industrialists opposed it. Now, we could do it with the 18% there. We have the support of the trade unions, and trade unions are getting more powerful. But we'd piss off both the industrialists and the Southern planters. Southern planters are, they're not quite minimalized, but they're not a very powerful faction in our country anymore. But the industrialists, on the other hand, are incredibly powerful. They might be the most powerful. I'd have to look. Yeah, they're very, very powerful guys. So pissing them off is not a good idea. But we could basically pass this and just get the negative that you normally get for laws they don't like, which is typically not, a major factor when it comes to their overall opinion of you. It's the actual passing of the law that pisses them off the most. And so we can completely avoid that. Now, this is going to cause us some problems with bureaucracy, but we actually have a ton of bureaucracy right now, surprisingly. So, I thought we were still doing that one. Yeah, we still are doing that one. Yeah, we still have a lot of bureaucracy. So we need to actually take a look at our institutions anyways. I think we're going to do that one, guys, because it passes the law. You also don't get that 33% interest group pop attraction. And no matter what, you're going to have many of the same effects here. Still going to change the trade unions up. So we're going to go with the guarantee fair wages, guys. And so now we have the wage subsidies, increasing the welfare payments and enabling that Social Security institution, which we didn't have yet with the poor laws. Now, this will affect their opinions, apparently. Okay, so even if you pass the law that way, you still get the opinion hits. I wasn't sure how that would work. It makes sense that they would react to it regardless. But even when it's passed by events, you get the hits. I've had a few events that changed laws, but I didn't really pay attention to whether it was impacting the opinion or not. This was overall still beneficial. You didn't have to wait. You didn't have to take the time doing it. And, we can eat that opinion hit for a little while. Industrials are, neutral still. But they are definitely the strongest interest group in our country, easily. Trade unions are number 2. Yeah, very strong faction in our country. We do need to take a look at Virginia. I said we look at their population as well. So very high Dixie population, almost 2/3 of the population here. And it looks like Filipino. People from the Philippines are moving to Arkansas. Afro-American, 8% of the population here, so 137,000 people. And Ashkenazi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is also almost 8% of the population. More Protestant here than in Cuba, but not as high as what we've seen up further north. Very high Sunni Muslim population. Look at that, 8%. We got war propaganda. That's 20% conscriptable battalions. Not that we needed those. Peasants here at 50%. Machinists, 6.14% there. And then a little bit more varied support here in Virginia, because they have both the agricultural element and the industry there. So we got a bunch of things notifying us here. Let's go ahead and do the interest, because I think we saw they keep on getting removed. I'm not entirely sure why we keep losing an interest, what the issue there is. Let's go and fix that. Let me just see where our infamy currently is sitting. So we're at 45.2. We're still pretty high at the moment, unfortunately. So we also have low market access in our 2 most populous states. So we need to go ahead and build more railways there. So let's just get 2 levels in each, I think. Yeah, we'll do it like that. And what else was an issue here? Expensive goods. Yeah, these are all ones we're trying to fix, but, we can only do so much. And we got all this constructing, though, get our GDP up. Currently at 200 and almost 3 million. Of course, that's, again, just way below the British and the French. So trying to catch up to the British here. We have surpassed China, though. They were higher than us for a long time. France is way above us, and they're continuing to climb very rapidly. So I don't see us catching up to them, but maybe to the British. We can try. Keep on building up. Of course, if we want to catch up with them, we cannot have time periods where we're not building. So we do need to make sure we're building stuff. So let's go and also build a couple more of these, and we're going to put them into, let's see here. We're going to put them up to the top. So we're going to go, because yeah, I feel like we could definitely build a couple more here. So we're going to throw those up at the top, and then let's go ahead and see what all we need to get. All right, so I know that the dye prices are going to adjust, but yeah, I think people are trading for it. Maybe not. It's just anything that keeps on going up. All right, well, we just need to keep on getting more synthetic plants in, and it looks like lead may also be an issue here. So we're going to work on that next, and then more wood. I think would be beneficial too. Okay, so let's go with the dyes, the lead, and the wood. That's how we'll do this. All right, so for the dyes, to get those synthetic plants, we've already got them up to level 10 here in Delaware, and no effects on the peasants. That's interesting. People moving there just as fast, apparently, and they're still sitting at the same amount of peasants as they did. But this should help with some of the standard of living issues, but you can see it's still pretty low there, guys. So I think we're gonna go ahead and step it up even further. So look at 5 there, I think. And then let me just see if there's anywhere else we might want to put these that has a lot of peasants. So yeah, we could do the Massachusetts one, I suppose. Yeah, you can also do Texas though. Texas's standard of living is not as high as many areas in the Northeast. So let's do Texas. Yeah, we're just going to build a bunch of these, so let's get like 10 of them or so. I think that'll be good. And then the lead is next. Let's go and build a bunch of these. A couple there. Some more in Arkansas. We got a migration going there. I think that'd be wise to add it up a little bit there. And we already got a lot going to Alabama. So let's do more in Missouri then. All right, so that looks pretty good. And the last thing was the wood. So let's go after the logging camps here. Kind of been spreading these out, building them all over the place. So let me just kind of base this off of, can we get them here? Because I think we're going to get them here if we have the peasants to support it. Unfortunately, yeah, these guys are out here. Could build one right there though. So we'll do that. And then yeah, just looking at places where standard living could be stepped up some, since this is something that we've been building everywhere. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Let's go just one in each area that we see the standard living being a little bit low here. Because you can get these everywhere. And we will. This is gonna be a heavy part of our industry here, guys. We're gonna really focus on the wood. More in West Virginia there. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Just trying to spread out the wealth just a little bit. And since we're going to be building so many of these, it makes sense for us to use this everywhere. Alright, so it looks pretty good. Florida could also get some. Alright, so that should really reduce wood prices considerably, and it'll let us trade some more off as well. So it's going to be one of our main exports, because America just has so much wood. And then they have all those modifiers to the wood as well. That's one thing we could be working on, is improving relations with different countries. I don't really care about the British, because we're going to end up causing more trouble with them when we attack Canada. If we end up doing that instead of attacking Haiti first, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we could go ahead and improve opinion. I mean, the French, we already have good opinion with them, so don't need to do them. But we could improve the opinion with other countries. So we'll do Prussia, Russia. We'll do Hawaii again. Let's see how we're looking. Still looking pretty good, but we need that infamy decay, so we're not going to do it any further. In fact, probably shouldn't have done all the ones I did. But that's fine. We'll get those opinions improved, and yeah, that'll be fine. So we got those destroyers. We needed those for the fight against the British. Also got increased taxation capacity and telephone switchboards for government administration. But you gotta be able to build the telephones, but I'm not entirely sure we've gotten those yet. But yeah, that does increase bureaucracy by a lot. We actually have bureaucracy, which I keep forgetting to spend. So let's spend that now before I forget again. So we're gonna get, so with the Social Security, could step that up. Or the workplace safety. We already got the full education. Could do law enforcement a bit further as well. But radicals has not really been a major issue for us because we are doing so much to help our people. So let's go ahead and go with 1 level of workplace safety. I suppose we will do 1 more level of law enforcement. And we might be able to get another one, but yeah, you'd have to build up a little bit. But of course, we almost have this done as well. So that's something to consider. So let's go ahead and do the Social Security as well. And yeah, now we're going to have the bureaucratic shortfall, but I don't think it's considering the fact that we're going to get 1,000 bureaucracy back once we complete that. So we get the destroyers for the naval bases. Okay, so we're also going to want to make sure that we get those changed up now before I forget, and that's over here. So we're just using those escort frigates currently. And so this is going to give us 10 more offense, 20 more defense, and it's going to require a lot more ammunition and ironclads. So I'll have to take a look at that. So work on that, and then we need to get another tech selected. So as far as military techs for the war against the British, let me just see if there's anything we might want to get here. So increased defense is always helpful. We'll probably stay on the attack. We don't want to do the level 5s just yet because those will take 6 years to get currently. Could do the bolt action rifles. This will allow you to construct a lot more small arms. So yeah, I could do that. Let me just take a look at the society tax. I want to say we've gotten all the main things for level 4 that we needed to get. I mean, that's helpful. More authority, I suppose, would be helpful as well. And of course, there's the prestige for film. And we haven't really been getting very many of these, so maybe we should move over to production, because there's a lot of stuff that we need to get here, guys. I suppose we can grab telephone real quick, so we can switch out our government administration buildings. Yeah, we'll go and grab that up. Alright, so I don't know if this is because we just finished constructing something. Yeah. I just got to update here, because I could have swore we were building quite a bit there. So again, we're losing money here, but it's not a problem. We have such a massive gold reserve, 26 million over that. So no problems there at all. We finished up the Panama survey. So our survey of the Panama Isthmus is complete. We have confirmed that it would be possible to construct a canal linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Next, we must acquire the land from New Granada. So we can say that we will make a suitable offer that'll increase relations by 10 and add this journal entry. Or we can say coercion is the simplest form of persuasion. So we still get the journal entry and all that kind of stuff, but we decrease relations and we'll get a claim on Panama. Well, let's try and make it a suitable offer here. I actually didn't get this far in my other campaign where I didn't actually do the Panama one when I played as US. So I'm not entirely sure how all this goes down. So we'll find out here in this one. I've also never constructed the Suez Canal either in the game just yet. I don't know why we dipped way over there. So yeah, let's go and take a look at that journal entry and see what all we need to do there. This here can't be completed until we go to war. We have 9 years to do it. That means we got a couple of these that need a warfare to happen. There's or it needs a war to start. There's also one here, the People's Revolution. And this would be for a Workers' Republic if we enacted the Council Republic. So construct the Panama Canal has already been added up here. It's already been pinned up there on the outliner. And so basically, we just need to get control of the state. So it said added a decision as well for acquiring a land in Panama. Our GDP must be at least 50 million. And basically, we just need to improve opinion with New Granada. Now, the Panama purchase is going to be incredibly expensive. 30,000 is going to be added to government expenses, but we can easily eat that. So yeah, let's go and get the relations up with them. course, that's going to further cause problems with the influence here. Infamy decay is now going to be much slower, but that's alright. We do need to improve people's view of us. The world overall doesn't like us much. So yeah, we're gonna get everybody's opinion boosted. Yeah, you can see Prussia hates us. I don't know why, we never even fought them. Well, they really do not like us. We don't even have like conflicting interest. But yeah, they have a very low opinion of us currently. Yeah, we don't care about this. We're just gonna declare our neutrality here. But yeah, I think this could be a good source of rubber here, guys. And I'd like to attack them. I'm not sure what would be the best course of action. To attack them first to get that rubber, and then have to burn off a little bit more infamy. Or to go after the British. I suppose one thing to consider is like when the British go to like a major conflict. Like if they're in a major conflict, then that would be like a good time for us to get involved. A lot of these conflicts we see them in are like colonial ones though. So we need them to be like fighting a major power. Like if they fight a major power, then that could be the time to attack them. I feel like we could beat the British. You know, even though they have, you know, a significantly larger military both in the sea and on land than us, they're not going to send their entire army over here. And of course, Canada, their army isn't anything super impressive. But, you know, we also need to build up our own forces a bit more. We have this massive number of conscriptions here. But I think having some more regular troops will be useful before the war kicks up. And had somebody die here. Oh my lord, guys, Simon has finally died. So it did still see him as being on an expedition, as you can see here. So it still sees him on the expedition. That's why he's been marked as busy. And, you know, we knew we had that bug there. But what's going to happen here is that Eugene will just be the new expedition leader, right? So because he died on the expedition rather than through natural causes, it means he should die since he's no longer being marked as being busy. But yeah, you're just going to end up having him do it. And so you're going to be in the same damn situation, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you can take a look real quick. But luckily, Eugene is in the Caribbean. So the fact that he's busy isn't as big of a deal. Yeah, that is actually not a bad thing, guys. Yeah, we get our units back, essentially. All right, awesome. That ended up working out. So now we'll have access to more units. So that's nice, because yeah, he was hogging up a bunch of units. And so now we don't have that issue. We just got the 2 in Cuba that we've lost control of. Which I was only keeping them for defense anyway, and I wasn't going to give them a general just for the 2 units, so it's really not much of an issue, guys. Not at all. All right, so we got the conveyors. That gives us the assembly lines for these 3 industries here. And that will require oil. And we do produce a bit of oil. But yeah, clearly we're going to need to focus on that now. So let's go ahead and, because yeah, we're definitely going to want to change it up. Let's go and see where we're at now, currentently on the production of oil. We have a little bit, but I think we'll wait to switch those production methods over until we actually have, oh geez, man, silk is running too cheap. All right, so we're clearly going to need to ship some of that out, guys. Well, anyways, what I was going to say is we wouldn't change those production methods up, and oh wow, we're not building anything. My bad. I'm not paying attention, guys. I'm distracted with a bunch of other things. I was so excited about Simon no longer being a problem. Yeah, we need to construct that. And then, yeah, stuff for oil as well. So first, let's go ahead and trade off the silk, guys. So we're going to export this out of here. To the British. Do we want to export it to them? Not particularly. Let's do it to the French instead. Yeah, we'll help them out over the British since, you know, the French are supposed to be an ally. Sometimes they're an ally. And then the oil, we already know Pennsylvania will probably be the best location for that. As of right now, we do have other places. I mean, just to show you guys every place that we can get the oil rigs. As of right now, it's Kansas and Pennsylvania, American, Alberta, and California. Those are our choices. Pennsylvania has the most of that and the most peasants. So I think it makes the most sense to start there. I suppose we can build some in California too, though. And Kansas always needs. Yeah, so and I don't know if we're gonna be able to use all this. So let's just go like so for now. Get those building. Really focus on these. And what else do we need to get going here? So obviously nothing we can do about the rubber at this moment. And yeah, the dyes, the buy orders keeps on going up as we increase the sell orders. The buy orders is going up. So frankly, I think we just need to. Here we need like a stupid another number of synthetic plants clearly, and then the shipyards as well. We need to get more of those. All right, so let's go ahead and get those for now. And I guess coal is something we're always going to need more of as well. So we'll do that too. All right, so let's go and start with the synthetic plants, which again we're going to do a bunch of these. Yeah, the peasants doesn't move. That's crazy. It's like always at the same thing, regardless of how much I build these up. Maybe it's not pulling from the peasants, maybe it's pulling from somewhere else, but I mean, like, then those jobs would be open. So I'm not entirely sure where they're getting their workers from here. But you can see that the standard of living still seems pretty low there. It has stepped up some, though. It's not quite as bad as it used to be. Yeah, it's not as big of a problem. So let's go and build in a couple other places then. Just kind of increase their levels in these other locations. We could even go all the way up to 20 here. We're going to need a lot of these. And then the shipyards would be next. And Massachusetts still seems to be... New Jersey is another location. Where's New Jersey at? Yeah, we can go build New Jersey up. But yeah, Massachusetts and New York are the other locations we might want to get these. And so we're building up a lot there. And we can always trade some away if it gets too cheap. And then the coal. Let's go ahead and get that going. Do we have any gold mines? No, nowhere you can build gold mines just yet. All right, so with the coal, let's go into Pennsylvania. Probably a bunch into West Virginia here. Let's go up like to 15, level 15, because they have a lot they can build there. I'm gonna build in Kentucky as well. Yeah, just really invest heavily in the coal mines, guys. So that looks pretty good for now. And yeah, we'll get two in Illinois as well. Yeah, just building a ton of coal mines here. And I think we'll wait to get the groceries. Everything else is probably fine here. We're using all of our industry. That's what's important. And we're at 28.8 million on the gold reserves. And knowledge of the telephone spreading to us. So we'll actually be able to get that tech quicker. We're currently researching that as well. All right, so just getting all these opinions up. I think you have to get it up to 20 with them in order to do that. Finish that journal entry. Now, lots of stuff being imported here. So that's affecting our cost. And didn't they already fail on that, propertied women? They just really do not want women to have any rights here. They just keep on trying to enact that. They'll fail multiple times and then do it again. But yeah, as we get these finished up, we'll get back our influence so we can try and burn this infamy off a little bit faster. Because yeah, it's not going down quite as fast as it was before. 39.2 currently. But yeah, we're building in some of these other areas here. I think that's important to, to get their standard living up. You're seeing it's going up overall for the country, 16.1, but still pretty low in those areas. Many of the same states have the low standard of living. And Russia, interestingly, is damaging relations with us. They've become antagonistic with us. Okay. And did we finish up those oil? The discovery of oil in Kansas is causing people to flock to the state, hoping to find jobs in this booming industry. So maybe we hadn't identified all the oil in Kansas yet, but I didn't think that was the case because I knew they had a lot more oil than just those 8. So we can encourage this trend. Oil is the future. That'll give a 50% migration attraction and a plus 50% oil industry employees. It's like slated here as a negative. It's a bonus or penalty to the number of employees in oil industry buildings. So they'll have more employees in those buildings. Where you can say caution that much may yet change in Kansas. And it's not as big of a migration attraction bonus, but also you don't have as many extra employees. So the thing is here with this is that, it seems like a good thing because you're giving more jobs to people, But eventually that you lose this modifier, and then all those people are just fired. And so they'll be all unhappy with you. So I think we're just going to go with the caution approach. But yeah, there's definitely people in Kansas that could use the job. 141,000 pops right now. And then you bring a higher migration factor there, and it's going to go up even quicker. But yeah, that's one of Kansas's keys. Their key resources here is the oil. We have 3 here of 20. And there's no demand for oil yet, so we need to fix that. So unfortunately, I didn't look at the assembly lines right there. I'd forgotten that this was another one of the automation ones. Now, it doesn't mean it's useless, and frankly, we have to get something because we just produced oil, so we need to get something. It doesn't make it useless. It'll still be useful in places that aren't making good money. Now, the furniture manufacturers are already making good money. Now, this would increase how much they make a lot, but it would also fire 42,000 people, so there's that to consider as well. A lot of people that's getting fired, but certain places are not doing so well. The motor industry, guys, and this would actually cause further problems for them. That's interesting. Tools are super expensive, so I was hoping to save the money by going this route, and I think we're still going to go with it because I think you just bring down the price of tools, so it'll actually be beneficial. So we'll go ahead and change it up there. Is there anywhere else that we can change it? I remember it was motor industries. And then you have the furniture manufacturers, and there's one more. Oh, the tooling one. So you could do that as well. And that would reduce the price of coal significantly. But yeah, you'd have to get that oil instead. And you had to make them very profitable. They're already quite profitable, given the price of tools at the moment. So this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and do this one here. The assembly lines. And then we'll just have to build a bunch of tooling workshops to make up for that, and we'll just take those up to the top. And then what we might want to go ahead and do is take a look and see if there's anything here we need to make any adjustments to. Yeah, is maybe bring down the number of coal mines we're building. I suppose we can focus on that, but yeah, eventually coal is going to be worth a bit less as you have certain places using oil instead. We'll finish this coal production up, yeah. We'll let them do that. But definitely want to take up those tooling workshops up to the very top, guys. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll get a bunch of tooling workshops. See where we want to put these. So put 2 in Virginia, 3 in Georgia, and maybe just get these all like level 10. You're gonna need a lot of these anyways. Put 1 in Kansas there, Louisiana, 1 more in New Mexico. All right, so that's a lot, and those are all thrown up to the top right now, guys. So we're really going to be pumping into the tooling workshops, trying to get the price of tools down, because I think that's probably affected many of our industries, and many of our industries are making so much money that it's not impacting them negatively too much. But you've seen that there are a few industries where that's become a bit of a problem. So, do we want to piss off the intelligentsia or the industrialists? Those are our choices here. Seems like we'd be better off pissing off the intelligentsia, so that's what we'll do. Or irritating them. It's -1 opinion. It's not that big of a deal. All right, so we almost have them up. Excellent. We got them up to the level 20, but there might have been one more thing we needed to do. Let me just take a look. Nope, looks like we can do it now. Acquire land in Panama. So remember, this is going to be 30,000 into government expenses. Luckily, we've got so much money in our currently sitting in our gold reserves, so it's not much of a problem. So let's go ahead and take this decision here. That'll give us the Panama Canal. And so now we have access to it at the moment, but we have not built it yet. We only have the region in order to build there. Look at the population of this small little place here. It's 5.72 thousand. Frankly, we're going to need people to come here in order to have the ability to staff the Panama Canal, because that also requires staff, 5,000. So we don't have that available right now, so we will need more people to come here. So we might actually want to encourage some people to come here. Maybe they'll come on their own, though, if we just construct this. So let's go ahead and tick this up to the very top and get that Panama Canal constructing, guys. We just took a look at it. So we're going to get prestige and urbanization, and it's also going to allow ships to go through here, most importantly, and trade routes and that kind of good stuff. So yeah, we'll work on that. It's been thrown up to the very top here. So it's going to take 100 weeks to get constructed, just because, you know, the maximum that you can contribute is only 20. So, you know, it's going to take a long time to get this built here. That is the end of today's episode. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you guys on the next one. And thanks for watching.